Evening and welcome to a special meeting of the Coalition of Involved African American Parents. Tonight we will have a discussion about HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities. I am so excited about this discussion, but I'm even more excited that you have joined us tonight. Please, please, please engage with our presenters. They are here to share information with you, our students, our parents, our families. Please use the chat in the Zoom room or use the link in the YouTube frame to ask questions. And share your name and contact information so we can connect with you after this meeting. Historically Black colleges and universities, HBCUs, are both public and private institutions. The first HBCUs were founded in Pennsylvania and Ohio before the American Civil War, with the purpose of providing disenfranchised youth with a basic education and training to become teachers or tradesmen. From their inception, HBCUs gifted Black people with access to education, which was denied to them during slavery and segregation. The institutions also provided a safe space to learn, discover, and build. Although HBCUs make up only about 3% of African American academic institutions, the transformative schools play an integral role in bridging the opportunity gap with higher education. These institutions have and continue to produce some of the most influential trailblazers for minority ethnic groups, solidifying their importance in academia. Yes, more than 20% of African Americans graduate from HBCUs, and over 25% of African American professionals in STEM fields graduated from one of the 107 HBCUs. While HBCUs are no longer the only path to higher education for people of African descent, Black students still attend them in increasing numbers. Historically, Black colleges and universities remain a refuge for students to delve further into their cultural heritage and excel academically without fear of discrimination. Whether it's the groundbreaking STEM and science programs, low-cost tuition, the awesome school culture and climate, talented and exciting marching bands, or the supportive, caring, and dynamic professors, students are looking to HBCUs for a quality education and reflective cultural experience. HBCUs are golden products of the African diaspora and symbols of the strength and resilience of Black people. Their rich culture and academic rigor have allowed them to persevere despite continued obstacles, as evidenced by their long list of notable alumni, such as Thurgood Marshall, the first African-American Supreme Court Justice who graduated from the House, Morehouse College, the award-winning filmmaker Spike Lee, who also graduated from Morehouse College, Hall of Fame wide receiver Jerry Rice. He graduated from Mississippi Valley State University. What about comedian Ricky Smiley? He graduated from Alabama State University. Big Ben Wallace, he retired NBA player. Oprah Winfrey, media icon, she graduated from Tennessee State University. And Lonnie Johnson, an engineer and inventor of the Super Soaker. He graduated from Tuskegee University. Reverend Jesse Jackson, civil rights leader, graduated from North Carolina A&T University. Langston Hughes, award-winning poet and playwright, graduated from Lincoln University. Wale, a winning rapper, graduated from Bowie State University. John Thompson, the first African-American chairman of Microsoft, graduated from FAMU, Florida A&M University. Sylvia Trent Adams, United States Surgeon General, graduated from Spelman College. And Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the great civil rights leader, graduated from Morehouse College. And of course, our esteemed panel tonight, who graduated from some of the best HBCUs throughout this country. But before we introduce them, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Tristan Williams. He is a junior at Wilson High School here in Long Beach, and he has something very special to share with you tonight. Take it away, Tristan.
As a student of color, or better yet, a young African American male, my experience at the school where they say it's a great day to be a Bruin hasn't been so great. Simply, I just don't belong. I find myself seeking others who look just like me, others with my skin color, others with my hair texture, and others I can relate to, whether that be the everyday struggle, the teachers treating you like a criminal, or just the harsh reality of being Black in America. So therefore I tread lightly, praying that if I tread too far out, the sharks will get me. It's like an invisible barrier that separates us. It's like two different lifestyles. It's like two different backgrounds. It's two different worlds. Although my experience throughout school has left me feeling like a pebble in a bottle of salt, a needle in a stack of hay, a voice not even heard, a void in a room, a shadow amongst light, and a voice not even heard from a front seat. Although my experience has made me feel unwanted, a bother, even a problem, being a part of an institution, even a community, that doesn't leave you being a pebble in a bottle of salt, but has thousands of other pebbles just like yourselves, able to come together and explore deeper than roots itself about who they are and who they will be. An HBCU, a historically Black college, a historically Black university, a place where you too will soon belong. Thank you.
I met Tristan a couple weeks ago. I'm grateful for him. He's part of our family now, and I'm excited that he's interested in maybe attending an HBCU. But we're going to get on with our program for tonight, and I'd like to introduce our panelists. I'd like to start with myself. My name is Alyssa Taylor Stewart. I am an administrator in the Office of Equity, Engagement, and Partnerships, and I am a proud alum of South Carolina State University in Orangeburg, South Carolina. I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. And I'd like to just share one memorable experience at my HBCU. It's not really one identified experience, but kind of like Tristan, I knew I was a Black person, a Black young lady, but I didn't feel very proud of being Black. And when I attended an HBCU, it really transformed my self-esteem, my self-concept. I was loved on by my professors. I met some brilliant students, and I really, really came into my own at my HBCU. So I'm grateful. Moving on, Miss Brittany Parks. Brittany, you're muted.
Hi, everyone. Sorry for that. My name is Brittany. I currently work for Apple as an operational analyst. I am a proud alumna of Tuskegee University and a proud alumna of Renaissance High School for the Arts, which is an LBUSD school. And one of my best experiences at my HBCU, or I think just overall, is really the culture. You know, fried chicken Wednesdays, fried fish Fridays, you know, homecoming games, home games in general, just having those experiences with people from the same community, same backgrounds as me was irreplaceable.
Perfect. So I think I'm up next. My name is Jared Grimes. I am a proud Morehouse College alum, class of 2015. Also a proud Long Beach Wilson alum, class of 2011. Currently, I'm a sales manager for Morgan Stanley in the wealth management division. And something that I really appreciate from my HBCU experience is really just the family and support feeling that I got from the faculty, from my classmates. I'm still very close with a lot of my classmates to this date, and always felt supported by them, just really to push myself to be the best that I can be and unleash my full potential.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Donald Williams. I'm a proud graduate of Prairie View University, class of 1992. I'm currently a Student Success Initiative Coordinator at Browning High School. I've been assistant principal here in the district for the last 14 years. And because of my support that I received from Prairie View University, I stand before you as a leader of leaders. I went into the university having a speech impediment, which we call stuttering. And so I shied away from any type of public speaking. but because of the magnificent support that I received from all those that cared about me, from every professor, from every peer, I'm able to, again, step out on confidence and know that I can lead because of who I am and what I've experienced. So thank you to the HBCU, PVAMU.
Hey everyone, my name is Justin Grayson. I am the Chief of Communications and Community Engagement for Long Beach Unified School District, and also a graduate of Florida A&M University. What is there to say? First of all, I love the fact that we have all these folks together tonight, but we all share a similar experience, which is just support and that family. At FAMU, we call it the family, but that family that you'll gain in school and also will stick with you throughout your life and your career. I was actually also a member of the FAMU Marching 100. So I played trumpet in the FAMU Marching Band. And when I think about my experience at FAMU, that is the one that sticks out to me. It's just, playing on a field in front of thousands and thousands of people. Actually, my freshman year, we played on the field with Outkast and Goody Mob. So that was a highlight of my time at FAMU. But great experience, and I can't wait for the rest of this.
Hello, good evening. My name is Chandler Taylor. I am an alum of Hampton University, but also a proud graduate of Long Beach Wilson. I think the experience that sticks out most for me at Hampton was my ability to find my passion, which is social work. And now I am a social worker for the Long Beach Unified School District. So HBCUs led me back home to serve my community.
Hi, I'm Joy Fuller. I'm currently teaching at Grant Elementary, second grade through fifth grade. This year, I am the LL reading specialist, which is leveled literacy. I went to Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte, North Carolina. I was in the band. I don't play an instrument, so I got to be one of the dancers up front. That's right. I was one of them. And cheerleading at the basketball games with that mini band and the drums in the back and the dancing, you can't beat it. It's one of the best experiences you will ever have. Oh, and I'm a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Want to go first? You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, my name is Nicole Miles, and I am currently a resource specialist at LBUSD. I work at Gompers Elementary and Madison Elementary. I'm a proud graduate of Southern University, go Jags. And what stands out for me the most is, I hate to be repeat what everyone said, but the football games, homecoming, we used to have red beans and rice on Fridays. We all look forward to that. All of the social activities sponsored by the different clubs, as well as the sororities and fraternities, and just a commonality of that we all look the same, we know each other's culture, and we speak the same language. So that was hard for me.
Hi, my name is Alan Miles, and I'm a proud alumnus of Southern University also. I'm a proud member of Phi Beta Sigma fraternity. I've been in the Long Beach Unified School District for over 25 years. One of the things that stands out was having to view the Southern University marching band coming into the field for a homecoming game, or maybe even a Bayou Classic, where we go up against our rival school, Grambling State, if they're in the house. But there's nothing like that homecoming and that Bayou Classic experience that is shared amongst the Southern University alumni and the Southern University schools. So that experience stands out with myself.
Okay, Mr. Miles, I didn't know you were going to start already. Like, let everybody get through the introductions before you start this rivalry, because Portia's sitting there waiting to jump on you. But go ahead. Just kidding.
Hey, it's on. It's on. We have to bring it. That's how we roll.
Let's see. Have we finished introducing everybody?
I lost my number. I'm happy to jump in.
That's okay. Alana and Amy and Alana, I think, would be our last two.
All right. Hey, everybody. My name is Amy Love, and I'm a social emotional learning coach with Long Beach Unified School District. I've been with our school district for 30 years now, and I'm a proud alumni of Howard University. Which side is it? You know. When Miss Alyssa Taylor Stewart said share a highlight, gosh, that's hard to narrow it down to just one highlight. But Tristan, I want to thank you for sharing your heart at the beginning of our evening together. And, you know, one of the things that came to mind right away when I thought of highlights, and then when I heard you sharing your heart in the way that you did, was at Howard, we have a huge outdoor area in the middle of our campus we call the yard. We call it the Mecca. And when you step onto that part of the campus, Tristan, you are home. You belong immediately. There are Black people from every state in the nation. There are Black people from all over the world, Black people who look like me from high noon to midnight. There are just so many people that are us, and it feels like home, and it feels like being seen and being welcomed and belonging. And the other thing that comes to mind is going to the bookstore for the first time after I put together my pennies and could afford to go get those textbooks, that when they handed me my textbooks across the table, every single one of my textbooks were authored by Black people. And I just remember feeling like I had made a great decision to come to this Black university. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, hello and good evening. My name is Alana Grant. I am a proud graduate of South Carolina State University. I'm also a product of the Long Beach Unified School District, a graduate of Wilson High School. I currently serve as the equity officer for the city of Long Beach. And I'm also a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. One highlight that I would uplift just about my time in Orangeburg and at South Carolina State would be just the investment of time, resources, and attention that I received as a student. Countless faculty and community members, folks who didn't even know me, just seeing this S on my chest, they were willing to, believe in me and my dreams far more than I often did at times, and that's something that I am forever grateful for.
Thank you, Alana. You know, it's funny, I met Alana within the last few years, and we both graduated from SC State in Orangeburg and have very similar experiences, even with all the years between us. I just want to say, you know, there's a lot of pain and harm, honest pain, lived experiences in our Black community. But today, I stand in this space very grateful for the opportunity that Long Beach Unified School District, that Justin Grayson, that Dr. Lucy Salazar, Dr. Jill Baker, Dr. Tiffany Brown, they've given me to do something like this. I don't know what happened before. I don't know if this has ever been before, but for me, this is a first. I've been in education for 35 years, and I have to share gratitude and give roses where they're due. So I am very grateful for this space. And I live from a place of hope, and I am hopeful, and I believe that Long Beach Unified School District is rooted in equity and really wanting to move the needle and make a difference for Black students. And by them giving me this space, it's proof, the proof of the pudding that they are putting their actions behind their words. And so I just want to say, not negating the harm that's been done, but I just want to share my gratitude to be in this space and talk about the brilliant HBCUs. Look at this talent. Look at these beautiful people. I mean, we're the degrees, the this, the that are in this Zoom room right now. And so we're here tonight to uplift HBCUs, to learn about HBCUs, to share with our students, our families, our parents, our caregivers. And, students like Tristan who haven't had those great experiences, give them some hope and some open their eyes to what's out there. And I can't wait to hear, especially from the young folks, if I may say that, because I know things have changed, right? Since I left South Carolina State, I ain't gonna say when, but things have changed. And I can't wait to hear from the young folks about what it's like now. So without further ado, I'm gonna hand it back over to Mr. Williams to let him start the Q&A. All right, Tristan.
All right. Hi, everybody. As you know, my name is Tristan. I hope you guys are all having a wonderful day. And Mrs. Love, I want to thank you for that. I truly do appreciate you. So the first question I'll be asking is one for each one of you guys. So the first question is, what is the biggest difference in culture that a Black student will experience at an HBCU school? This question goes out to Mr. Miles.
Hey Tristan, how you doing, brother?
Good, good. Yourself?
Good. You spoke well, young man.
Thank
Keep
you. I
speaking.
appreciate that.
Okay. And so I know that there are times have changed, as was stated earlier, from the time that I won't speak on by the time I went to Southern and the students that are going there now, the campus is totally different. But I will speak that the environment in which, and you spoke on it earlier when you mentioned that you were placed on the campus at your high school, and that sometimes you feel like you were maybe there by yourself. Well, and it has been stated earlier by all on the panel that when you hit that HBCU campus, everybody looks like you. Majority of them look like you. So you get in where you fit in and you roll with it, because you never know who you're going to run into. And it just be the culture, the experience and the culture that you will encounter will be something that you can grasp and take from any other African-American student that is on that campus. You may grab some Bayou gumbo from someone in Louisiana, or you may grab some different type of food dish from someone on the East Coast, or someone up in the North, or someone from California. You just grabs all the cultures and you kind of bring them all in and make them a part of you. And then that's what you bring, or that's the kind of culture that you will experience at HBCU.
Got you. Thank you, Mr. Miles. I never even had gumbo before, so.
All right, we're going down there to Southern. We got something for you.
Got you. Mrs. Miles, can you answer that same question?
Okay. Ditto what my husband said, but in addition to that, it's the culture, but it's also knowing that you have a support system. Okay. I'm born and raised in California. So when I went to Southern University at 17 years old, I knew no one, but immediately I met friends who were also from California. Okay. I met people who were from Chicago, Florida, different states. And immediately there was a bond because we found out we were there for the same purpose. Number one, to graduate. Number two, to have fun and party. Okay. So knowing that I had that support system from someone that looked like me, who was about in my age range, a peer, that meant the world to me. In addition to that, the instructors, when I was at Southern, 95% of our instructors were Black. I think that has changed now. There's more a diverse ethnicity now. But knowing that whatever HBCU you go to now, you would still have, I would assume, the majority of your instructors would be Black. And it's just nothing like that Black teacher pulling you aside and letting you know that you have potential. If they see that you're slacking up and that you're not really working and doing your assignments, they'll pull you aside and say, hey, stop wasting your time, stop wasting your parents' money. You know, I'm going to help you with this. Come to my office. I mean, they will take the initiative to help you. Okay, that's my experience. You don't have to go and ask them, hey, well, when is your tutoring time? Can you help me with this? They see it in you. I know it's just something about the Black connection. They see it in you and they push you forward.
Gotcha. I like that. It seems like it's a real support system at these HBCU schools. I like that.
Yes.
Mrs. Love, can you answer the same question?
Much of what's already been said. I can remember my first day on campus and being connected with a mentor who became a lifelong friend. We also had geographic, I was coming from New York, Howard is in DC, but I was able to connect with other folks from New York so that I felt a sense of being home and not homesick. Where I lived in my dorm, back then we were, I think it's still like this at Howard, we had a freshman girls dorm, and we had mandatory meetings where we would have to come together, our floor meetings every week. So Tristan, you were never alone unless you wanted to be alone. There was always someone there to support you and have your back and help you out. My department chair was treated me like I was one of their own children. When I was at Howard, they would call your parents if you weren't turning in your homework. I don't know if it's still like that. That dates me a little bit, but it feels like home, and you're not alone, you're seen, and it looks like home, it smells like home, it feels like home. It's home.
Yeah. Got you. I like that, because my biggest thing is feeling that, like, if I'm coming all the way from California and I'm going out here like to the HBCU schools, it's like, am I gonna feel like lost? Like I'm like out like in the open sea with nobody. Like that's my biggest thing. So I like that. Thank you for your answer. Miss Parks, can you answer the same, or Miss Parks, can you answer the same question?
Yeah. I think my experience at an HBCU is different, right? And I want to go back to like my first day on campus as well, because I couldn't afford to visit HBCUs or tour HBCUs, before actually showing up in the rural South at my university and seeing it for the first time on the first day of school, right? And so when I showed up, I moved into my dorm. There were bats in my dorm, real live bats. And immediately day one, everyone in my dorm is forced to be a community. And, girls are running into my room, helping me pull items out of my room. And, we're all hiding with each other in each other's rooms. And we've never met each other before. We don't even know each other's names at this point. It's the first day. And so it's just amazing to see how quickly people will come together when something as crazy as a bat flying through your hall is impeding on your space. And then just every day after that, just seeing people roaming the yard and just having the freedom to be themselves and grow. And as a young person, you show up thinking you know it all and you're ready for the world. And at this HBCU, you're able to realize in a safe environment, like, hey, maybe I don't know it all, and maybe I do need to figure some things out here. And there are people here who look like me, have been through the experiences I've been through, who have come where I come from. Half my school was from California. There was a whole California club, and we would have California picnics and, play our West Coast music and show people exactly what Snoop Dogg is about and what our culture from the West is like, so it's completely different than walking a PWI campus. There's a PWI 20 minutes from my university, and it's completely different culture. It doesn't feel like a family when you're walking on a PWI campus. It feels like the campus is bigger than you. And when you're on an HBCU campus, you feel just as big as the campus, just as big as the legacy that you're walking on.
Got you. Wait, so it wasn't even rats, it was bats?
Oh, when I say the rural South, I mean the rural South. There are swarms of bats. I don't even know if a swarm is the right term to talk about a family of bats, but yes, it was bats flying through my dorms. We had a bat catcher come in. He said, stand against the wall, don't move. And we were standing against the wall. And, it was definitely something that no one expected. The university stepped in right away to fix the issue and accommodate us, make sure that we were all safe. But it was definitely a real interesting night, to bring my suitcases and my bedding and unpacking my dorm room, and all of a sudden I see a bat. I thought it was a bird, to be quite honest. And my mom went in the bathroom and she said, Brittany, I don't think that's a bird, baby. We might need to get your eyes checked.
Wait, Alana, we shouldn't tell them about the flying roaches in Orangeburg, huh? We'll just leave that for the next conversation. Sorry, Tristan.
It's all good. Thank you for your input. I love that, Miss Parks. Thank you. Miss Taylor, can you ask the same question? Answer the same question?
That's Miss Chandler Taylor.
Chandler Taylor.
Yes. Culture at an HBCU, kind of to echo what a few of my other panelists said, but to add to it, It definitely is a family at Hampton specifically. And I think every HBCU, your first day, you do get there. Some people call it the Big Brother, Big Sister program. Some call it mentors. Hampton calls it student leaders. There will be somebody there to greet you. The good part about the student leadership program at Hampton is there's students from all over. So my first day at Hampton, I was introduced to my student leader who was from down south Alabama, very different than California, but I got to see Hampton through her eyes. And so that culture component came the first day I was there. I met people older than me, my age, from all across the country. We had students from the Virgin Islands, everywhere you can think of. And so you got to see Black people from every socioeconomic status, every part of the country, and people who had experiences that I hadn't experienced. Coming from California, I thought I knew everything. California is such a big place, but I got to understand that, you know, there are other people that look like me that have completely different experiences that I can learn and take from. And so my whole 4 years, I became a completely different person just because of the culture that I experienced at my school. Whether it be the school culture itself, whether it be Black culture, or just the culture of different states, it's all right there for you to take what you need from it. So that was my experience with culture at the HBCU.
Gotcha. I like that. It really changes your perspective on things.
It did. Everything I thought I knew was different when I left. And that's because of the people I met.
Got you. And you had people from the Virgin Islands coming to going to Hampton?
Yeah, Hampton is one of the HBCUs that has a high number of students that are international. And so the other thing about HBCUs that a lot of people don't recognize is we do take a lot of international students that aren't Black. And so even in that self, that was a unique experience of this is our homes, but we don't close our doors to other people that can contribute to the culture of the school as well.
Gotcha. That's cool, because my mom is from the Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
Got you.
Yeah, I mentioned to you, Tristan, we even have an HBCU in the Virgin Islands.
Mm-hmm.
In the United States Virgin Islands, so HBCUs are everywhere.
Gotcha, that's cool. Mr. Williams, can you answer that same question?
Most definitely. But before I answer the question, I got to make sure that you all are aware that Prairie View A&M University is in Prairie View, Texas, which is about 35 miles north of Houston. And so our biggest rival is TSU. Of course, Grambling and Southern, y'all take a back seat to that. So, but anyway, also, but a couple of big things that as far as culture is concerned from HBCU, Black love. Everybody that you see, we show love to one another. And I was able to take that back to my family because it was amazing how I showed so much love to the people at college, and I didn't really show that same love to my family. And so I was able to take that back and kind of emphasize that to my family and just let them know we need to start showing love to one another. Black pride. It's nothing like the pride that you have when you attend a Black university, HBCU. And the last thing is self-worth, self-efficacy. There is nothing that I can achieve because of the experiences that I have. At first, I went into the university with doubt. I came out the university with confidence. Mm-hmm. And so it has taken me in a lot of different places and put me and allowed me to take advantage of a lot of different leadership opportunities that exist because of that empowerment that I received from my experiences at an HBCU.
Got you. I love that. Mr. Grimes, am I saying that correct?
Yep, that's correct.
Got you. Can you answer that same question?
Yeah. I think HBCU culture, from my experience, is really about a friendly competition. And so, like, when I say that, right, I always felt like I was always looking at my peers and seeing them do and accomplish great things. And that always inspired me to be better. but I never once felt like ashamed of what I was doing or that I wasn't doing enough. It just I always felt inspired, right, to do more. And I always found that there was other classmates of mine that would be willing to, maybe show me or expose me to areas that I wasn't necessarily as familiar with, or help me out in a few areas that maybe I needed some assistance with, right? And so, like, for example, I remember countless times being in the business department, maybe prepping for an interview with a company, and a classmate might kind of run by and say, hey, you're about to interview with this company. I know so-and-so interviewed with them prior or at a different school. This is a few things that you may need to cover, right? And you should be kind of good to go. And so I think that's a big thing about HBCU culture is that, when we talk about support, having like friendly competition that's going to inspire you, but also support you and be there for you to help you grow is really important. And I don't know, if that's what is given at other PWI institutions.
Gotcha. I love that. It sounds like Morehouse has like a really strong brotherhood, and that you're around people who make you want to be a better you, So.
For sure. Yep. All about a brotherhood. And I think that's across HBCUs, but I mean, Morehouse, those are definitely my brothers.
Got you. Thank you. Miss Fuller, can you answer that same question?
Yes. For me, I'm going to say it's exposure and opportunity. Johnson C. Smith was small. It used to be really small. At the time when I went there, it was like maybe 1,500 of us. So I was able to participate in a lot of activities that I never would have had at a larger institution like USC here or UCLA or whatever. And being part of the Black Excellence Program, where you're introduced to bank owners, product managers. They were talking about bringing in other marketing examples to the school and then taking us out to them as well. And then on the flip side, the opportunity of being in the band or being part of the sorority, or for me, I was able to choreograph the Wiz, which it would have never occurred to me to even try to do something like that when I was approached. They said, we're going to do the Wiz. You want to choreograph? Sure. And it turned out to be a fabulous experience. So for me, it's exposure and opportunity.
Gotcha. I love that. Thank you. Miss Grayson, am I saying that correct? Miss Grayson?
Mr. Grayson.
Oh.
Grayson, yes, that's me. It's all good.
It's all good.
Hey, so yeah, I love what I've heard so far. I would just add that the one thing, my experience at Florida A&M University when it came to the culture was, that sticks out to me was the connection to my heritage and the African roots that my family comes from. I grew up in Philadelphia, and while Philadelphia does have a very large Black population, it wasn't until I got to FAMU that I felt truly, truly rooted and grounded in who I was and in the history and the heritage of where I came from. So I think of things like the fraternities that you see just roaming around campus and doing service and, of course, throwing parties, but the stepping that you see with the fraternities and sororities and the sisterhood and the brotherhood that comes with that, there's a cultural aspect to that. I mentioned that I was in the band. Of course, music is just in our blood and in our veins, and being in the band, whether you're listening to it or whether you're marching in the band or being a part of the gospel choir, we all know the HBCUs, the gospel choir goes hard. So all of the music that exists on the HBCU campus. And then if you flip that to another level academically, it was the first time I took a class called Black Psychology that was like the therapy session that I needed my entire life and I had never had. So I took Black Psychology, I took classes on Black history, I took a psychology, philosophy class that was kind of rooted in Black history and culture. So there were just things that I had not been exposed to. And I had, when I was in high school, I had some opportunities to go to a PWI. And I almost went to one. I had some music scholarships to go to some large universities on the East Coast and chose FAMU. And so happy and proud of my family who pushed me in that direction to go to an HBCU, because there's just certain things that I don't think I would have ever learned. And I don't think I would be who I am today without those experiences of just being around the history and the culture and environment. So yeah, that's it. That's the culture is just unmatched.
Gotcha. I think you touched on like every topic I was thinking of, especially the fraternity part, because that seems like something that really does pique my interest. And I love the part where you said that you explore like deeper about your heritage and stuff like that. Because for me personally, or not me personally, but many other Black students, you know, they really do feel that where they come from is just like Long Beach or Compton, and that's it. Like, but this like it's way deeper than that. It's deeper than roots. Like it's way deeper. So I love that. So I thank you.
You're absolutely right. We learn about our culture from the people that we're around, but we don't necessarily learn the deep-rooted history, and we don't learn kind of how it all connects back to the motherland. So once you learn that, everything kind of unlocks, and you learn a lot more about your surroundings and about yourself.
Okay. Got you. Thank you. Mrs. Taylor Stewart, can you answer that same question?
Yes, Tristan, I will. So first, I'll just shift the question from culture to culture shock. I left Chicago. Even though I grew up in the suburbs, it was still city life, urban, to Orangeburg, went to Orangeburg, South Carolina, which is country. So I didn't want to stay. It was hot, 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 and it was country. And I was like, I told my mother, I'm coming home. And she told me, no, you're not. Back then, we didn't have as much freedom, Tristan, and choices. We were told what schools we were going to go to and so forth, right? So I stayed, and it was the best, absolutely the best experience of my whole entire life. It was life-changing. I grew up, I was in the desegregation era, and prior to desegregation, I had some Black teachers. But after that, many of the Black teachers were pushed out. And so I did not have a lot of Black educators in my life. My mother was obviously my primary educator, and she knew I needed something different than what I was getting. So for me, the biggest difference is the Black brilliance that exists at HBCUs. Professors from all over the African diaspora, I mean, from deep down South, with degrees I can't even name, brilliant professors in science and math and English and philosophy, and I mean, and just the feeling of being taught by somebody who, you know, looks like you or is culturally connected to you. And then the students. So I was a good student. I was a really, really good student. And, you know, we weren't really taught, you know, Black pride kind of came about a little later, right? And so I didn't go down there like flossing or thinking I was the best thing down on the campus. But trust me, I was humbled very quickly, because there were students I was a pre-med major at the time, and there were students who, I mean, just the brilliance that existed. I don't even really know how to articulate it any differently. The Black love and the Black brilliance is what did it for me. Thank you.
I love that. You know, you're being around a lot of people who look like you, and you're being around a lot of people with the same, on the same intellect level with you and stuff like that. You know, you're able to come together as a whole and, you know, advance your intellect and stuff like that. So I love that. Thank you. This next question is specifically for Ms. Parks, Mr. Grayson, and Mr. Miles. Starting off with Ms. Parks. Are there any differences in the way education is taught and the curriculum at a HBCU compared to a PWI?
Well, I've never been to a PWI, so I can't speak fully to their experience, right? But I do think there are differences, and I've seen those differences from working at a PWI while I was attending an HBCU, right? And so I think one of the major differences in how education is taught is definitely related to resources and funding. You know, walking a PWI campus, they have labs with all types of simulations that they get to do as business students and engineers. And one thing that I think makes HBCUs powerful, though, is just because we may not have as much funding, we still have great experiences to learn from and great opportunities to learn from, right? And it's opportunities where we get to contribute to the communities that we are in through our education. And one of the things that I remember most is doing a program with Tuskegee and Verizon to tackle the food desert problem in the Tuskegee, Alabama area, because Tuskegee, Alabama is made up of mainly Black residents, right? And it's a city that is super underdeveloped. It doesn't have, you know, a real grocery store besides the Piggly Wiggly that's down the street, right? And so how do we get safe and healthy food to these people in this community? And that's one of the things that we got to use our education and the things that we were learning in the classroom, and also meet some amazing people at Verizon, right, who have these positions. And it was kind of allowing us to network, relationship build, and also put our knowledge to the test as well. So I think there's many more avenues that we get to explore at HBCUs, and especially with the support of our advisors. You know, the advisors really help us to make connections. I know my advisor specifically at every career fair, and not just for me, but all of his students, he would drag us arm in hand, you know, to the people he wanted us to speak to. Like, you need to speak to this student, like they're so amazing. And he did it for all of us. And I think it was because of him and his dedication and his care for us all why we were all able to graduate our program with job offers.
Ms. Parks, I don't even know what to say. I love that. That was amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mr. Grayson, can you answer that same question?
Yeah, sure. I mean, Ms. Parks kind of knocked it out the park, no pun intended on that one. But I would just add that the one thing that I remember from Florida A&M University that I did not expect when I got there was the relentlessly high standards that were set for every student. Especially, I was in the journalism program, so I walked in there, and one of my professors was a former Washington Post editor. Another one was a former big-time TV producer. And so they knew, and I think this goes for everybody, they know what kind of barriers exist in the outside world. And so when you walk in there, and I'm gonna tell a little about myself. When I walked into FAMU, I had cornrows. My hair was like yours, Tristan, and I would cornrow it. And that doesn't matter. Like, how you look, how you talk doesn't matter, because they want to teach you, and then you make your decisions once you go out into the professional world. But I walked in there with cornrows into the journalism program. I was a reporter. I was doing sports. I was doing politics. I was doing all different things. But I had professors that cared so much about me that ultimately they were like parents. You kind of feel like you're leaving home and you don't have your parent. You can do whatever you want. But I had professors who were like parents that were holding me to these really, really high standards. And I just think that in terms of the difference in the way that education is taught, you can still connect it to, like I talked about earlier, connect it to your culture. You can connect it to your voice and your own energy, right? So if you're doing news, your news might have a little extra swag to it that it might not have if you went to a PWI. And I would say this last thing is a direct experience that I had, because I did take classes at Florida State University, which I believe at that point had 50,000 students, and it was a predominantly white university, but it was right across right down the street from Florida A&M. And there was just a difference in what the students at FAMU had experienced. Everyone at FAMU had done at least 2 or 3 internships already, had been lining up job offers, had been, writing for the newspaper, had been doing TV interviews and things like that. And on the flip side, when I took classes at Florida State, very few students had been hustling the way that we were at FAMU. And when I tell you, when I graduated and when some of my colleagues graduated, we all got jobs immediately after graduation, when I'm not sure that some of those other folks that didn't have a resume already built up in college, I'm not sure that they, fared the same way. Now, maybe there was some privilege that existed, or there was some things that they could have just jumped into. But when I tell you, me and my classmates, we worked so hard, and I look back on that and I don't regret any of it, because it all kind of paid off in the end.
I love what you said, especially the point with the cornrows and the standard, the education standard.
You can't tell now. You can't tell.
Yeah. Because at specific PWI schools, such as certain Ivy League schools, the standard, and people who don't even attend these schools, and people know that the standard at these Ivy League schools are like really up here. But then a school like, a school that's not an Ivy League school, that's looked like it's not such a, high-end school, you would feel that the standard isn't there. But then when you go on that campus and you experience it, and you realize the standard really is there. And I also love the fact that you're able to be yourself. You don't have to like change or nothing like that. You can wear your hair how you wear your hair and stuff like that. So I really like it.
Absolutely.
Can I just add one thing? I know it's not my turn, but I think that it's a fallacy, the message that Black educators don't have standards. Their standards are actually higher. Trust me. I mean, you have to be hitting the mark. There's no skating. I don't care how cute you are. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what sorority or fraternity you're in. The standard is way up high. So please know that is definitely a fallacy that's promoted. That is not a truth about Black educators or Black schools. Sorry.
Got you. Thank you. Mr. Miles, can you answer that same question?
Okay, Tristan. What I can answer to this is pretty much everything Mr. Grayson and Ms. Parks have stated, as well as Ms. Taylor. But the one thing I will say is that I'm a product of the integration system coming out of high school in the Deep South. So the PWIs, I have no concept or no type of connection to them. After graduating from the integration system, my whole focus was going to Southern University. And then as Ms. Taylor has stated, the expectations, they are high when you get to an HBCU, and the culture that you embody and the push that the professors will hold you to will make sure that you meet the high standards, you are on task, and all of the necessary things needed for you to graduate. Okay, when they pull you to the side and tell you, I need to see you in my office, you may not get that at a PWI. But at the HBCU, you got a professor saying before you get out of class, sir, Mr. Bow, I need to see you. Okay, so that entails a whole lot about how you are culturally mixed into the HBCU, and the word love has been put out there. Another thing is that your connection, the family, all that things embodies you into grounding you into be the individual that you can successfully be out in the world. And we're products of that.
True, got you. Because in order to be considered good, and this is what somebody told me, when you're Black, in order to be considered good, you have to be great. And then anything above that is just, yeah. So thank you.
Yes.
Does anybody else have?
Yeah, I just wanted to add to because, Mr. Miles, Mr. Grayson, and Ms. Taylor said it best, right? Like the standard of excellence that we are held to is high, and it's for a reason, right? We can't ask to want to be around Black excellence. When we walk onto these HBCU campuses, they're not just our professors, they're also authors and scientists and doctors, and they have careers, right? They are the Black excellence we want to be in ourselves. And so they would never be our professors and teach us and push us to a place that they aren't trying to be themselves, right? And so they are the examples of the Black excellence we want to be, which is why the standard is high for us coming onto these campuses.
Thank you. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add? No, on that question. No. Okay, got you. So the next question is for Ms. Taylor Stewart and Mr. Williams. We'll start.
No, it's for Ms. Taylor, Ms. Chandler Taylor, my 20-year younger, 30-year younger twin, but Ms. Taylor, Ms. Grant, and Mr. Grimes.
Oh, got you. So now it seems that like most of these top Black athletes attend PWIs, such as Duke, UCLA, UC.
Wait 1 second, Tristan. I'm sorry, I kind of messed up. The next question is about the comparison between HBCUs and Ivy Leagues. That's for Ms. Taylor, Ms. Grant, and Mr. Grimes. And then after that, it's about the athletes.
Okay, got you. My bad. Why would a top-rated HBCU be a better choice to attend than an Ivy League school such as Harvard or Columbia for a high-achieving Black student? Miss Taylor, can you answer that first?
Yeah, I can answer that. I think when you think about Ivy League schools, a lot of the response you get is about the legacy of an Ivy League. And Ivy Leagues are known for their historic presence, their standard of excellence, whether it be education or, you know, the network that you're going to leave with or your experience there. But I think when we talk about high level achieving African American or Black students, we do have historically Black colleges that are considered the Ivy Leagues of Black schools. Hampton is one of them. Amy, I see you. But the reason that they are considered the Ivy Leagues of historically Black colleges is because they're on that same level of an Ivy League. When you leave these schools, you will leave with that same rich legacy of attending an HBCU. You will also leave with education. You just heard them talking about that standard of excellence that HBCUs hold their students to. And that is because they don't ever want you to leave feeling like your education is less than another school. And so you get that Ivy League standard of education as well. But then you also leave with a network. You heard us talk about the communities that all of us left with coming from, you know, our selected HBCU. And then you also get the experience too. And so when you think about a high level student considering an HBCU versus an Ivy League, those are the three things that I always tell students that I work with right now. Consider those three things. What's the level of education you're going to receive? What's the network that you're going to leave with? Are you going to leave with that job? And are you going to leave with an experience that was what you expected going into college? And if, you know, that HBCU can provide the same level as that Ivy League, go ahead and go for that HBCU. Maybe pick one that is considered an Ivy League of HBCUs. There's a bunch of them. Morehouse is represented. I don't want to say it, but Howard is represented. Hampton, but to me, all HBCUs are Ivy League level. So can't really go wrong.
Got you. Thank you, Miss Taylor. I appreciate that. Miss Grant, can you answer the same question?
Yeah, sure. So before I jump into that, I want to go back to the culture question only because I got skipped. And I think this really does tie into this particular question. So I'm a policy nerd, but one thing that's really important to know is that as Black people, we spend our entire lives navigating systems and institutions that were built without us in mind. So we are reminded of this on a daily basis, and we spend our entire lives being othered, minoritized, and marginalized simply based off of the pigment of our skin. So for 4 years, you have the opportunity to go to a school where you were, that was designed with curriculum and with professors that look like you. You're going to a school and going through a program that is designed with you in mind. So to take that context and then now talk about being an above average student, I don't really care for this question just because it's not really a comparison of us versus them or why us and not them. But as an above average student, for me, going to an HBCU was always the plan. So being a Black student in advanced and honors programs, it does something to the psyche. You're going through classes with very few teachers and students who look like you, especially here in California. So as a product of the school district, this is my lived experience. I think at most, I probably had a class with 2 other Black students. And that socialization very early on, it does something to your psyche. Again, you're being conditioned and taught to see yourself as this exception, as if being Black and achieving academic excellence are mutually exclusive when that's far from true. So going to an HBCU as an above average student means that you're being surrounded by people who look like you and are also meritocratically performing very well. These are folks who look like you, and they're also pursuing academic rigor. And these are programs that are designed for you. So when it comes to why an HBCU would be a better choice, it's because you as a Black student are at the center of whatever that program is that was designed. And then I just also want to uplift that even for a student who's not performing well, there's a program, there's a professor, there are peers, learners that are there to support you too. Something about going to an HBCU and still going on, this is kind of in alignment with what Mr. Grayson shared earlier. Going to an HBCU, and you're still prepared for the workforce. You're still prepared to be a competitive person and asset and in the real world after you leave that school. And that's because of the grit that comes with going to a historically Black college, but also the rigor that's built into these schools. So I just wanted to uplift those two things, and thank you.
Got you. Thank you, Ms. Grant, because I also feel like in certain classes that I'm taking, these advanced classes, I sometimes feel like I'm like the only exception, you know, in these classes. So thank you. Mr. Grimes, can you answer that same question?
Wow. So I have the pleasure to follow up, Alana. You know, she, you know, it's no coincidence. I was a year behind Alana at Wilson, so our experience is probably pretty similar. She was speaking like, you know, some of my exact experience. When you go from the quad, you know, hanging out with everybody, right, 4,000 students, you saw a decent amount of Black people, but, you know, once you kind of went to some of those classes, right, 4,000 students, not to say there was only 2 Black people in maybe your math class, your English class, but once, you know, who's actually having that class at that time, you're literally 1, 2, 3 of 40. And so, you know, to Alana's point, your psyche starts to say, what is going on with me? Who am I? Why am I here? Why are they there, right? Like, what is life? And, you know, you never feel that really at an HBCU, or I never felt that. I always felt like, wow, this is home. Like Atlanta, Georgia, Morehouse College is literally home. I've never felt more, you know, entrenched in a place that was for me. And so I think that, again, goes to Alana's point of, right, these HBCUs were literally crafted for us, right, by us. And I think that's really important. So I think that, you know, that's one of the main reasons you should consider an HBCU. And then secondly, like, just the pride. Like, I'm so extremely proud to be an HBCU grad. I'm actually a second generation HBCU grad. And you know, that is I'm extremely proud about that as well. Shout out to the Mileses, Southern University. That's where my mom went. That's where tons of my family went, you know, so without that experience, I don't know if I would have made it to a Morehouse, right? It was a lot easier decision for me because I had seen people attend HBCUs. But I think that, right, when you're comparing the two, it really comes down to, you know, the HBCU is for you. And no matter who you are as a Black person, right? Because people always say, well, you know, my son or my daughter's a little bit like this, or a little bit like that. Well, they fit in, you know, at the HBCU. And I'm like, what you don't understand is every single type of Black person is at an HBCU. So you'll definitely find, you know, your niche of where you fit in. And then just the pride factor of it, like, yeah, I was educated at a Black institution, right, in a country when Black people weren't able to be educated at some point in time, you know, historically. So I think those are just two of the reasons why, you know, HBCU is the way to go.
Thank you, Mr. Grimes. I feel like our high school experiences are a lot alike, so thank you.
I want to share something, Tristan. Alana brought up a really, really good point. I feel like HBCU professors, teachers, they meet students where they are. I've been blessed to work with students with learning disabilities for many, many, many years before I moved into administration. And I was able to encourage several of my students to matriculate to HBCUs. And one thing I noticed, we talk a lot about this culturally relevant pedagogy. It's a real thing and it's really important, but we don't have to have that at HBCUs because it's naturally built in. And so when you have teachers teaching Black students the way they need to be taught, connecting to their culture, it mitigates some of their learning challenges. So it's some students who struggle in K-12 who attended an HBCU, they found themselves not struggling in the same way because teachers are connecting with them. You know, they're talking about Tupac and I don't know all the names, Brittany, but whatever the case may be, they're relating to them. They're talking about folks that they're connected to culturally. They're meeting them where they are. They're speaking their same language per se. And so, yes, HBCUs are great for accelerated students, but they're also great for that student that struggled a little bit. And I just wanted to make sure we got that point across because truth be told, those are the students I really feel I would love to see attend HBCUs because we hear a lot of our students going to PWIs and struggling. you have that network. I've had professors at HBCUs reach out to me, you know, while my former students are now at their university. Hey, Miss Taylor Stewart, hey, Alyssa, what's up? Can you help me? Tell me something. This is what I'm seeing. What should I say? Making that connection so that network and that support system is even built outside of the walls of the university. So just wanted to share that.
Got you. To add on to that, Miss Taylor Stewart, because me personally, I have a friend who is in special education, and he was put in there just because he has ADHD, and so therefore the other day he was asking me if because where his placement is in school, throughout school, would he be able to attend would he be able to even go to college and stuff like that? So based off him asking that question, like I felt like, dang, like think like you can't go to college and stuff like that. So I feel like a HBCU school would really like would they still offer him like, you know, admission and stuff like that, although you've been, you know, in a certain type of program throughout your academic career?
Well, you cannot discriminate against any student because of any type of learning challenge, but we can talk offline, and I can definitely put him or her in contact with folks at Wilson that can support, answer their question if it's a Wilson student, wherever they are. But yes, to answer your question, I believe that there is a place for all students at an HBCU, I believe.
Gotcha. Thank you. I appreciate that. Does anybody else have anything they want to add to this question? Okay. The next question is specifically for Miss Taylor Stewart and Mr. Williams. We'll start off with Miss Taylor Stewart. Now, it seems that most of these top athletes that attend predominantly white institutions, they tend to attend these top universities such as Duke, UCLA, UC Irvine, or UCLA, because these are schools that are seen producing the most successful athletes and whatnot. So how would a student athlete that goes to an HBCU school have the same opportunity to have a really good athletic career or even make it to the pros?
So I cheated, and I got my facts, and I wrote up an answer that I want to share with you, because a lot of students, a lot of athletes, I'll just say this, feel like they have to go to white institutions or PWIs in order to be successful in their sport. I just want to share this. So for many, many, many years, some of the best Black athletes graduated from HBCUs. The first Black NFL quarterback to start and win a Super Bowl, Doug Williams, graduated from Grambling State University. Also, Larry Doby was the first Black player to go directly to the majors from the Negro League. He attended Virginia Union University, But things changed a bit, but they're changing back. Currently, the North Carolina A&T men's indoor track and field team is the #1 ranked program in the country. Mr. Deion Sanders, who is helping to resurrect Black college football at Jackson State, garnering some of the top recruits in the country. I know you guys all heard about Deion, and I think something going on at Southern. I mean, it's happening. It's spreading like wildfire. I want to share that my daughter graduated from North Carolina A&T State University. She was the 20th leading scorer in women's Division I basketball the year she graduated. She was the MEAC Player of the Year the year she graduated. She went on to play 5 years of professional basketball in Europe. Then she went back to Grambling State and coached, and then she also coached at the University in Colorado. So the opportunities are available for our top Black athletes at HBCUs. More importantly, they are seen as student athletes at HBCUs. Black, I'm not bragging, Alana, Black professors, HBCUs care about your students. My daughter went to Santa Barbara for a year. I'm just being honest. She was kind of seen as, oh, the cute little Black girl, the token little Black girl, you know, you don't have to turn your work in on time. She went to North Carolina A&T. The first time she was late on assignment, the professor wrote an A, slashed it out, and wrote a C. So they hold you to a very, very high standard because they realize the success rate of athletes after college is small. Let's be honest. How many athletes go into professional sports? She was very blessed to be able to go to Europe and play, but they're trying to prepare you for the world. So couple the excellent athletic programs, which are definitely resurrecting with the high standard of academics, the rigorous academics. That's a recipe for success at Black colleges for Black student athletes. I'm going to shoot it over to you, Mr. Williams. What do you have to say?
Well, I think that we all can address this question. because we, of course, have a lot of friends that were athletes in college, and we've kind of been able to see them evolve. But one thing that I do want to point out, and I want to make sure that we all understand, at PWIs, if we look at all the sports that are predominantly played by Black athletes, they tend to have one or two Black coaches on their staff if they're led by a white coach. Why? Because they need somebody on their staff that can connect and relate to the Black athletes. Well, at a Black university, most of the coaches are Black. And so they can be those individuals that can be that stern father figure that can really provide them the guidance and the support that they need. And it falls in line with everything that we've said from the beginning up until this point. And I'm sure someone else can kind of chime in on that. But just me being over the athletics at a couple of different high schools and talking to different recruiters, that's the one biggest thing that really separates the Black university and sports from anything else, is that there are no shortcuts. And this is what coaches emphasize in Black. There are no shortcuts to hard work. And they strongly emphasize that you have to get your education. Because even if you're a phenomenal athlete, there's life after your athletic career, and they understand that.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. I really like that because, you have a lot of athletes who feel that, they have the Allen Iverson motive kind of. They feel that they're really good in their field or line of work, whatever sport that may be, basketball, football, whatever. And they feel that they're so good to the point where they feel that their education doesn't matter or something like that, or they can just, the league or something like that. But a lot of stuff can happen, injury and stuff like that. This can happen, or you just don't make it or something like that. So I like what you said. So, thank you.
Guys, we're running short on time, and I would love to be here all night, but we have a short presentation after this about HBCU college tours, which I know Tristan and the rest of our students are going to be excited to hear about. But I want to center Ms. Love, Ms. Miles, and Mr. Fuller. You can choose to talk about your support system at the HBCU or your social experience at HBCU. Or you can talk a little bit about both. So Ms. Love, Ms. Miles, and Ms. Fuller, in that order.
Thank you. I'll go quickly just to continue to reiterate the good messages that have already been shared, that if I'm addressing my support system when I was at Howard, one of the things that touches me the most is the feeling that my professors, my advisors gave me, that they weren't willing to see me fail, and that they would meet me whenever I could meet, before school, after school, weekends, to support me, so that I would be successful with my academics, and that I would make it to the end and get my degree. And then I'm so glad somebody needs to start talking about the parties. Tristan.
Here.
If you want to see us all go at it.
I see Alana over there looking all serious. I know she partied at South Carolina State.
Oh my gosh, the best parties. And this is where we all get interconnected, because when I was at Howard, a year was not going by that I wasn't going to make it to the Bayou Classic if I had to ride in somebody's trunk. A year wasn't going by that I wasn't, we used to call it the Freaknik. I don't know if they still do that down in
Atlanta.
So the social scene is fantastic, feeling like you have an opportunity to celebrate with the new families that you create, and then also having spiritual connections at our HBCUs is fantastic. So you get the full rounded experience, Tristan. Get the full rounded experience.
Thank you, Ms. Love. Thank you for being honest. Ms. Miles?
Okay, I'll piggyback off of that. I'll be quick. The parties. But also, I developed a love, or not a love, but maybe an interest in politics, because every spring there were the elections. You had the Student Government Association,
SGA.
The freshman, sophomore, senior class presidents. They were running for election, the campus queens, and so with the election process came parties. Okay, so if someone was running for sophomore class president, they had a party. They had free this, free that to get you in. They tell you their platform. They have flyers. Well, we had flyers back then, but everything kind of centered around parties, which was a great way to socialize with people that you didn't even know.
Thank you. Last but certainly not least, my soror, Ms. Joy Fuller.
Yeah, so the parties are real. In Charlotte, we had one Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, every other Sunday after church, and then, of course, every single Friday. Homecoming wasn't just for people coming back to celebrate homecoming. It was for the students who were currently there. We had our parties with the people who had already graduated. They had their parties. We'd co-mingle. We'd hop from school to go to each other's homecomings. It's real. The social life is real. You can't beat it. Being around all that Black positivity is just amazing. It just lifts you up.
Thank you, Joy. Ms. Fuller, thank you so much. So we're going to pivot just for a hot second. We talked about the connections at HBCUs. So we are going to be having a very special event in April. And part of this event, we're going to do some type of a HBCU college fair. So kids can come out, parents can come out. And I put something on Facebook, and all of these hits, I guess that's what you call them, hits, but folks start reaching out, I want to participate. And this is what happens. When people know that you're part of an HBCU community, they want to connect with you, or they feel the sense of connection and pride. So our presenter, Ms. Portia Austin, is going to share something about herself, her organization, her experience at Grambling State. But I just really want to say I'm very, very grateful for the connection that we have made, and I'm sure we're going to be partners for a long time in this work. So Portia, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Hello, everybody. I know you guys have seen me pointing to my Grambling stuff, because every time somebody says something, it reminds me of Grambling. Again, I am Portia Austin. I am a graduate of Grambling State University, both undergrad and grad school, both at Grambling, and then went on to some PWIs to get some more experience there as well. I am currently a curriculum coordinator in Haruka Unified School District. So I'm at the district level, kind of organizing curriculum and instruction for the district. But my true pride and joy is my nonprofit. So my 501c3 is called J5 Education Consulting. And our goal is to get kids to HBCUs, point blank, period. That's all we do. That's what we're founded on. That's our purpose. My experience at Grambling, let me go back to that before I go into the J5 stuff. I am a member of Sigma Alpha Iota International Music Fraternity for Women. I did go to Grambling on a music scholarship, marched in the world famed Tiger Marching Band for 3 years, sung my way out of school. I got a scholarship in vocal music to graduate, because if you know about the world famed, you know, we're always on the road, and if you just do band, you will not graduate on time. So my goal was to get out of school in 4 years. So I went and got a vocal scholarship and got out of there. But my very first performance back home, I am born and raised here in California, was Super Bowl 32. And Grambling's band has the most Super Bowl performances out of all of the HBCUs. 5 to be exact. So I will hang my hat on that. I did grow up thinking that I would go to an HBCU, but grew up running track, playing music, ended up with a partial scholarship to USC, but decided to go to an HBCU. Did not take that scholarship to USC. It was the best decision of my life. I can absolutely say that. The parties, not only did I party at Grambling, I partied at Southern, I drove to FAMU, I went all over the place to party. So I have friends at every HBCU only because we would go party. When we were not on the road with the band, we were partying. So that's my experience at Grambling. Fast forward to J5. J5, like I said, is purpose to promote HBCUs. What we do is we run a year-long cohort. So right now we just started our 2022 cohort. They are called anomalous. They're called anomalous because as African-American students, We are the anomaly. We want to go to HBCUs and make a difference. The stigma is that an HBCU is just for partying. You go party, your heart out, you go home, you never graduate. We want to be the anomaly. So this cohort, that's 2022, is anomalous. And what I do is I meet with the group once a month, all virtual, because we have kids coming from all over the country, to prepare them for college. So we just did a meeting on Saturday just to bring college awareness. The next one is the admissions process, financial aid, all of these different things that we do. Leading up to our HBCU road trip that happens in November, the week of Thanksgiving, and I know my Southernites know why I take these kids out the week of Thanksgiving. We take that whole entire week to tour schools. We tour 6 schools on the way. We do HBCUs, and I pair them with PWIs because I think it is huge for kids to see the difference between the experience at an HBCU and a PWI. And along the way, we do Grambling, we do Louisiana Tech. They're less than 10 minutes away from each other. We do Southern, we do LSU. They're less than 10 minutes away from each other. We do Dillard, Xavier, and Tulane. They're all right there next to each other. But the kids get to see the difference between the HBCU and the PWI. And then they also realize, wait a minute, HBCUs are right there next to PWIs. Why? Because PWIs weren't created for us. So we had to create our own opportunities, and that's why HBCUs exist. And so that in itself is an eye-opening experience for the kids. We do tours from Monday through Wednesday. Thursday, we do Thanksgiving in New Orleans, and then we start our Bayou Classic festivities. We do Battle of the Bands, we do Greek Show, we do Biz Tech Challenge, we do the parades, we do all of the stuff leading up to the game where Grambling beats Southern. That's what we do.
Wait a minute. Wow, wait a minute. You just started something up here. Wow.
Come on now, boys. Bring us home.
That part of it is huge for the kids, though. That's definitely a joke. I think the series is pretty even, although Grambling won last year. We won last year. We're probably going to win this year, too. But we'll save that for a later meeting.
Well, I do want to say South Carolina State just won the National Black Football Championship, right, Alana? I'm sorry, just wanted to interject that.
They did, but the change is coming. And I think somebody talked about this earlier about the athletic shift that's happening right before our eyes in HBCU sports. It's huge. Deion Sanders at Jackson State. Hugh Jackson is at Grambling now. He's bringing in NFL coaches as part of his coaching staff. It's happening in front of our eyes, and our kids need to know that. They need to know that. We actually did a webinar with Shaquilla Hill, and if you guys are familiar with women's basketball, Shaquilla Hill is the queen of the quadruple double. She's a Grambling State University graduate. And she said something to our scholar athletes that just stuck with me. She said, because one of them asked her, why did you decide to go to an HBCU when you're so talented? And her comment was, I chose to go where I was wanted and not where I was tolerated. That was huge for me. On that call, I had a little girl that was already playing high school basketball. She was doing great, could have gone anywhere. She had so many offer letters. She could have gone anywhere. She was not thinking HBCU, even though her mother is a graduate of Alabama A&M. Today, she's a freshman center at Southern University. So just those words twisted for her, turned the light on for her. Back to the trip. That trip, we do all of the academic stuff up front. So the kids tour the campus. HBCUs are small enough to where I can take a group of kids and go talk to the biology professor, and I can go have a meeting with the track coach. So we set all of that stuff up ahead of time for our scholar athletes, for our scholars, depending on what they want to major in. We set up all those meetings on every single campus. And then the student life experience on the tail end of that is just phenomenal. The kids enjoy it. I have to contain myself as a Gramblinite because I'm there for the Bayou Classic. I grew up going to the Bayou Classic. My dad is actually from South Louisiana. So every year from little girl on up, we were at Bayou Classic. So when I take these kids out now, I have to remind myself, you are in charge. You are the adult here. Keep it together. But that experience is second to none. We would love to invite all of the kids from LBUSD to come out and participate in that, even participate in our things leading up to the Bayou Classic, because even those monthly experiences that they do are huge in opening their eyes and seeing what they want to do and preparing for college, whether that be an HBCU or PWI, depending on what they decide to do. We want to make sure that they're prepared as minority students walking on any campus, not just an HBCU.
Miss Austin, may I butt in real quick?
Of course.
So on these trips to these HBCU schools, do the kids get to do we get to experience like the food? Like we get to eat all that food and stuff?
Yes, because I get to enjoy that with you. Absolutely.
Okay, wait, Tristan wants to know, he did, this was one of his questions. Somebody tell him about the good food at HBCUs. Please, just a couple folks tell him something, because I know that's what he wants to know. Go ahead.
That's definitely something we include as part of the trip. We start in Grambling, so we hit all the hot spots there. And then when we get into Baton Rouge, we do Mike Anderson seafood and we do all those. This is not a trip where you're going to stop at McDonald's, stop at Wendy's, stop at these little hot spots that are along the freeway. We purposely plan to have really good meals because you don't get that anywhere else but in these different areas. So yeah. Anybody else want to jump in on the food at an HBCU?
Well, I know back in my day, it was a long time ago, but we had some real soul food. We had some mamas cooking in the kitchen, and we had some delicious soul food. And I think I definitely put in my freshman 5? Mine was freshman 10. So I don't know if they're still cooking like that, Brittany Parks, but back in my day, they were.
Yeah, because I go down the street to Popeyes, and I feel like that's soul food right there.
Hey,
yeah, the food is still good. The food is still good. I think if you do get a chance to participate in one of these tours, right, like definitely seeing the CAF is going to be one of the highlights of your event, because and if you're lucky and you go on a Wednesday and the CAF is having something, you'll hopefully get to see the D9 stroll and do their thing and really get to experience a small subset of the culture, right? Because the CAF is definitely a huge thing. People wear their best fits to the CAF. You can't walk into the CAF looking a hot mess. People will talk about you. There's photographers in the CAF, it's just a vibe, a culture, the DJ in the cafeteria, it's just a fun space to be with each other.
Thank you for sharing that, Brittany. I really appreciate that, because some things have changed, but some things haven't. Ms. Austin, tell us a little bit about the cost or anything else that you can share with us that might help parents decide if this is something that they like their students to participate.
All right, so our trip again is the week of Thanksgiving. It's a 7-day trip. So we leave on the Sunday before Thanksgiving, we come back the Sunday following Thanksgiving. So 7 days. For all 3 meals, air transportation from California. We have two different states also participating. So we have airfare coming from there too, but airfare, ground transportation, lodging, food, event tickets, souvenirs, everything included is a one-time fee of $499, or if you pay it in installments, 3 installments, it comes out to $549. That's all we ask for. We're not in it for the money. My goal is to send kids to HBCUs, not get rich.
Wow. I don't even know what to say. I just feel so blessed and grateful that we had this connection, and I can't really talk. I mean, that is like unbelievable. You can't even get a flight out there for that amount of money.
Absolutely not. No.
Yeah.
Tristan, if you want to go, Tristan, we here at Long Beach Unified will make sure that we pay for you to go if you decide that that's something that's.
Yay.
You don't have to answer now, but you don't have to answer, but we just want to let you know that we will do that for you if that's what you want to do.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Get your friends. Get your friends too.
I feel like we're Oprah. You get a car. You get a car. You get to go to HBCU tour. That's exciting. Thank you, Mr. Grayson. Ms. Austin, what are our next steps?
Next steps, I will put a link in the chat. If you are interested, not ready to make a decision, but interested, just go to the link and then mark that you are interested. Let me get it in there real quick. That way I don't have to read it out. If you go to the link, it's on our website, www.j5ec. At the top banner, you can see HBCU road trip and just click on that and it'll take you to a form to fill out. Just mark that you're interested. If I've already piqued your interest and you have enough information and you want to reserve a spot, it's a $50 registration fee and the option to do that up front is there. You can do it that way as well. If you mark you're interested, we are going to be setting up another information session. We had one in January. We had like a little mini one this past Saturday, but I'll set up another full one. So you all please talk to your students, let them know, let them or have them mark they're interested so we can set up an information session just for LBUSD and get the information out to them. But that link will take you there. I see a comment in the chat about age groups. They have to be freshmen by the time we leave. So currently you could be recruiting your 8th graders because they will be freshmen by the time they leave, but they have to be freshmen by the time they leave.
Ms. Austin, about how many spots do you think will be available to LBUSD students?
Right now I have about 40 spots available. And I can open up more spots, but then I'd have to recruit some more chaperones. And then I might be tapping some of you on the shoulder so you can experience the Grambling Southern rivalry as well.
Yeah. So Ms. Austin and I have chatted, and God willing, I'm going to attend. I say God willing, and also my daughter, but we can hopefully be recruiting some more chaperones. We want to make this happen for our students. This is a gift. This is an unbelievable gift. Ms. Austin has this organization. It's affordable. I've already talked to some folks about it in my department, and we want students who want to attend, who really want to maybe check out some HBCUs. And I know that there's going to be some connection with the equity office and the students, but right now everything is going to be going through Ms. Austin's organization. But I just want to say to you, Ms. Austin, that we are really, really grateful, first and foremost, that you're even in the space and that you center and value the importance of Black students being able to attend HBCUs and having the opportunity to explore. So we're really grateful. And I know that we're going to be hearing from parents. We can't answer all questions tonight because we are kind of running out of time, but I want to give you my email. Most of you have it, but just in case you don't, Taylor at lbschools.net, schools with an S, Taylor at lbschools.net. If you have any questions about anything that's been talked about, if you want to connect with any of our panelists, if you have questions about the Black College Tour, anything, please email me. I promise you I will respond. Okay? I want to give our panelists one quick second moment, a whip around. What would you share with our Black students and our Black families about HBCUs, about life, about the next steps, about Black life, about Black joy, about anything that you like that's on your heart to share with our Black students, our Black families, our Black guardians, our Black parents? We are really making an intentional effort to center them and elevate them and bring light on them and focus on them and just connect in community. So anything you'd like to share, and I'll call out your name, and if you just would share something, it could be a statement, it could be a word, it could be whatever. Let's see. I'm going to start with Mr. Grimes.
Yeah, so what I'll say is to all the parents, all the students out there, please make sure you apply to a few HBCUs, right? There's a lot of time between fall when you may be applying and when the decision is to be made. I would hate for anybody to get to the spring and have not applied to HBCUs and actually want to attend one. So please apply. And secondly, as Ms. Taylor mentioned earlier, I think HBCUs are so important for students that may not be doing as well. So for those students, really ensure that you're trying to apply to HBCUs as well. I've seen it from my own experience. So those are just the two things I'll leave everybody with.
We're gonna reach out to Miss Brittany Parks. I want to say that Brittany Parks was my student in middle school, and I'm just so blessed and fortunate to still be in her life and sharing space with her. So Brittany, what do you want to share with our guests tonight?
You know, it's terrifying taking a leap of faith and going after something you've never experienced before, especially moving to Alabama and being from California. But I would never trade the experience. I never have to ask myself, what if I would have chosen Tuskegee? And I was able to grow in the most authentic way for myself. And that's what all HBCUs provide to students. And what I'll say is, you know, if scholarships money is a concern, I think there are other organizations out there that help with that. For example, the UNCF, the Thurgood Marshall College Fund. The Thurgood Marshall College Fund is how I actually have my job at Apple today. So, you know, it's a full circle moment, and there are opportunities, and really just take the leap of faith if this is really what you want to do.
Thank you, Brittany. Miss Alana Grant.
So I'm pretty sure I spoke to this quite a bit, just talking about how we spend our lives being othered so much. So I just want to uplift the fact that there's 107 HBCU colleges and universities. These are schools that were built with us in mind. So with that said, this is a moment where your history is not a footnote. Your identity is not an honorable mention. If you're worried about what comes afterwards, or whether or not an HBCU is going to set you up for success, I want to just affirm that it does, and that if you want it, it's yours. Yeah, I'll leave it there. I'll just be short.
Thank you, Alana. Thank you so much. Mr. and Mrs. Miles.
I want to start by saying that Tristan and families, there is an HBCU college fair. I don't know if it was mentioned already this weekend, so make sure you guys go. You feel the love at HBCUs. That's my bottom line. The love is there.
Hey, don't forget the Greeks, okay? And we mentioned those that are here on the panel, but the Greek life is a very important culture factor on the HBCU's campus. It's nothing like a step show. There's nothing like the Sigma stepping, nothing like the Zeta stepping. Shout out to Sarah.
There's nothing like the Broad stepping, Omega stepping, ain't nothing like the Delta stepping. But anyway, thank you, Mr. Miles.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Justin Grayson.
I would just end with the fact that it's just the greatest experience. I have not met one person that went to an HBCU that said that they did not enjoy their experience. Most of them say it's the best experience of their life. I said earlier that I was considering other schools, and my support system, other HBCU alums who are in my family, cornered me in the kitchen one Christmas day and said, you need to know these things about HBCUs and you need to really consider them. And then one of my cousins drove me down after his graduation from Morehouse, drove down the 5-hour trip to Tallahassee, Florida. And as soon as I stepped foot on campus, there was nothing else I needed to do, nothing else I needed to see or hear. Walking on the campus was the greatest, the greatest experience for me. So try to make sure that you visit, do all your research, but really stepping on the campus is the best thing.
Thank you, Mr. Grayson. Mr. Donald Williams.
I want to first say that I'm married. I met my wife at Prairie View, and she is currently principal at Washington Middle School here in Long Beach Unified, Dr. Rashawn Williams. So when I say Black love, I really mean Black love. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And you know what? I was a stuttering student, C student in high school, but because of what the HBCU Prairie View University provided me and supported me. Again, I stand before you. I sit before you as a graduate. So some kids think you have to be smart and extremely academically, excelling, and you don't. You just have to have the desire and the want to push forward, push through, persevere, become somebody better than who you are. And as long as that exists, they will support you and you will be successful.
Thank you, Donald. That just warmed my heart. Miss Amy Love. I love saying your name.
And I love the Black love, Mr. Williams. I love your wife, Dr. Williams. I also met the love of my life at Howard. He happened to go to Southern and found his way to DC. So yeah, the Black love is real. I feel like my experience at Howard, just to follow up on what Miss Grant has been teaching us and sharing with us this evening, that my experience at Howard may be the only experience that I've had in my lifetime where I was involved in an institution that was designed for our success. And so in that way, it feels like a gift when we go to HBCUs for ourselves, when we send our children to HBCUs, that we're gifting them an opportunity to rest in the greatness. Because there's a spaciousness when we get to go and we don't have to fight against the system, that we're in a system that's designed to uphold us. There's a spaciousness that opens up for us to really sink deep into our greatness. So give yourself that gift.
You said that, my back just stood up a lot straighter. I just feel so proud and grateful. Absolutely. Ms. Joy Fuller.
I'd like to go back on the part where we discussed how it feels like you're going home. When you're walking in and out of the dorms, you never feel like people are looking at you like, are you supposed to be here? When you're going in and out of your classes, you don't ever feel like someone's looking at you like, that person. It feels like the ambiance on the campus is sort of like your own home. You feel like these people know me, they have shared experiences, we have a shared background. We might come from different cities, states, maybe even different countries, but there's something we have in common that others don't. So when you walk on any of the campuses, you feel like you're going home.
Thank you. Ms. Chandler Taylor.
I think one of the things I would say about my experience and just sharing with families is me coming out of a large school like Long Beach Wilson. College was extremely scary for me. I questioned going. I didn't want to just because it felt unsafe. And when I started thinking about HBCUs and where I would go for school, I only ended up applying for HBCUs because any other school I looked into didn't feel safe or comfortable for me. And so walking onto that HBCU campus, I never felt more cared for. I never felt, more where I was supposed to be. And so when I talk to students and families now, that's the biggest thing that I want them to know is applying for that HBCU is really taking a step that could be life-changing. I was someone who went from not wanting to go to school to my college experience being something that everything I've done after leaving Hampton goes back to my experience there. So it's really something when you look at HBCUs can be life-changing for a kid who's not even thinking about going to school. So I take the chance. Look at that opportunity if it's in front of you.
Life-changing. Mr. Tristan, what would you like to say to our panelists, or any takeaways or anything you'd like to share?
I'd like to say to the panelists, thank you everyone for your input on everything, for helping students like myself who have interest in HBCU schools but are not sure if that's the right move. I'd like to say thank you to you all for hearing my testimony, hearing my truth, and a happy Black History Month. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Tristan. And I'd like to say to our Black students, our Black parents, guardians, caregivers of our Black families, we see you. You're important to us. We love you. We value you, and we are here to support you. We look forward to connecting with you in a not more authentic way, but in a face-to-face way soon. In April, you'll be hearing some more information about what's forthcoming. I am so, so grateful to all of our panelists for sharing your truths, for sharing your experiences at historically Black colleges and universities. I'm thankful, as I said before, to my boss, Dr. Lucy Salazar, who continues to tell me to dream and make a difference. And she supports me along the way. And I'm just so very grateful. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, but that's just my truth. I'm just grateful for this space. Tristan, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for your truth. I'm grateful for your authenticity, your transparency. I'm grateful for your patience and understanding. And I'm just grateful that you'll be going on an HBCU college tour per Mr. Grayson. So Ms. Portia, we are so grateful. We're looking forward to collaborating with you. And this is going to be an amazing, dynamic, transformational year for our Black students in Long Beach Unified School District. To all of my families out there, be safe, stay connected, and be well. God bless and thank you.
Ms. Taylor Stewart.
Yes, dear.
Thank you for all that. I will also like to just once again say thank you, Mrs. Love, and thank you, Mr. Miles. I appreciate you too. So
yes, absolutely. Thanks all around. Love and thanks. Black joy. I love it.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right.